This video is brought to you by Sailrite. In this video we're going to repair a shoe using the Speedy Stitcher Sewing Awl. This shoe happens to be my favorite pair of boat shoes, and you can see here there's a rip in them. Here's what it'll look like before, and here's what it'll look like after we use the Speedy Stitcher Sewing Awl from Sailrite. Many of our customers ask if you can sew with regular sewing thread instead of the pre-waxed twine that's included with the Speedy Stitcher. You can do it. We're going to show you how in this video. By removing the threaded cap, you can gain access to the number 8 straight needle and the number 8 curved needle that are included with the sewing awl. There's a handy storage spot built into the handle. Now, if you want to sew with some finer thread like V69, V92, or V138 polyester thread, you'll need to order from Sailrite the Stright number 4 needle. It's much smaller and does a much better job with that type of thread. Since we're going to use a polyester sewing thread, we're going to remove this wax twine that already comes pre-wound in the Speedy Stitcher when you purchase it from Sailrite. Simply remove the bobbin from the bottom of the handle, and then we'll take that pre-waxed twine and start unwinding it. We'll remove all the wax twine just to show you the bobbin, but you don't need to do that. You only need to unwind enough that you can get your sewing thread and place it right on top of the wax twine. As long as you have enough for your project, that's all that matters. To repair these leather shoes, we're going to use a V69 polyester thread from Sailrite. This is a brown thread. The V69 will match the other threads on this shoe. However, I would recommend using V92 or V138 for the sewing awl. We'll fish that thread up through the hole in the handle, and then we'll insert the bobbin through the bottom of the handle and then reinsert the handle bottom. We'll then take the sewing thread and wrap it once around that thimble or tack in the center of the handle. This will help to tension the thread when we're using the tool. Then fish the thread up through the top plate of the sewing awl. We'll then take the number 4 straight needle that we purchased from Sailrite out of its bag, and let's inspect it here. You'll notice that there's a long groove that I'm running my fingernail through right now. That long groove must be positioned with this groove in the sewing awl tool. Insert the needle into the fingers. So the large groove in the tool would line up with the groove in the needle. So position the needle or rotate the needle so that those two grooves line up. Then just insert the thread into the eye of the needle, and then you'll just simply reinstall the threaded cap. Before that cap can be screwed down, we need to pull that extra loop of thread out. There we go. Now it'll thread down. Nice and tight on the needle. The proper way to tension the thread is with my thumb on the handle. See, my thumb's down, now it's nice and tight. We'll show you that a little bit later. We're going to repair these leather boat shoes. You can see here at the back of the shoe the thread has given way and is starting to come apart. We're going to repair it with the Speedy Stitcher Sewing Awl. To begin our sewing, we'll just have a couple inches of thread hanging off the eye of the needle.
Through the shoe, my first hole. Make sure I don't hit my fingers on the inside. Okay, and then I'm going to pull it out a little bit so that I can grab my thread that's very small, because we're using V69 or V92 thread. This is 69, and I'm going to just use this tool to pull out the extra thread. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to pull out about that much thread. Then I'm going to pull the tool out, applying pressure on the thread to find the midway point, which is right about there. Okay, we could always pull out more thread just by doing that. Balance it out, that's about right. Now I'll take the tool and I'll insert it in my next hole, the space I want it. No hard fast rules there, it's just whatever you want. Try not to hit your fingers. And we're through the hole on the inside. Now I'm going to take the tool and I'm going to pull it out, which creates a loop, as you can see there. Since the thread is so small and our opening so small, it's going to be kind of hard to see, but I'm going to take this end of the thread and I'm going to put it through that loop.
Because we're working in a tight spot, this is obviously a little bit more difficult, and also this thread is fairly small.
I'm through the loop. I'm going to grab that end of the thread, and I'm going to hold it like so, and apply my thumb here, pull this through. And that creates our first stitch. Okay, now I'm going to go through the hole again, pull out some thread here.
Notice my thumb on the butt of the tool. That releases the tension so I can pull out more thread.
Through another hole, a little bit up. Okay, and I'm going to back this out, creates that loop.
The loop should always be formed on the scarf side of the needle, not the side with the long groove. It should always automatically do that for you.
Go through that loop again. Such a small space and such small thread. You know this tool is really designed for larger thread, but obviously I don't want large thread on my shoe repair. That would look goopy.
Even though it's designed for large thread, as you can see here in the video, it works great for this fine sewing thread as well.
Okay, and I hold onto the thread again, pull the tool out, holding on here so no more thread comes out. And there we go, there's 2 stitches put in it already. Okay, then I'm going to go up a little bit and put another stitch in.
I apologize for all the background noise. That's my family in the background because I'm doing this from my home.
Okay, push the tool all the way in, and then pull the tool back, creates that same loop again, and follow the procedure.
Why is the loop always formed on the correct side of the needle? That's because with that long groove we discussed earlier in the needle, that allows the thread to run in the groove. Thus, when you pull the needle out, that side receives no friction. The other side does. That's what forms the loop. It works the exact same way in a sewing machine.
Okay, I'm through the loop again. I'm going to pull it out of that. And tension it so that it's got a good knot. Boy, that looks really good. See how that looks? It looks great. Let's keep going. We got a little bit further to go. We're going to go up a little bit. Insert the awl. Okay, we're going inside there again. I'm trying to open the shoe up so you can see it again. Creates the loop. We take our thread. It's very small. Probably should have used V92 instead of 69. Go through the loop. Or 138 would be really good, but 138 we don't have around. 138 is even heavier thread. Come through the loop. And hold on to this thread. My thumb on the tool, pull it out. And tension it. Another beautiful stitch. If the knot comes through the back side like it did there, just pull on the thread on the inside. You're trying to put the knot right in the center.
We'll skip ahead here and show our finishing stitch here near the top of the shoe. This is our last stitch. We're going to insert the thread, then we're going to pull the tool out slightly so that we can grab hold of that loop, and we're going to pull some of the thread out of the mechanism, or out of the tool I should say, and then we'll cut it. Oh, here we didn't need to cut it because that was actually the end of our line that we had wound up on the bobbin. If it weren't the end of the line, we would have cut it so that we had enough thread coming out the back side that we could tie a knot. So now we have those 2 strands of line, and we'll just simply tie a few knots in them, and then we're done. That's how easy it is to use the Speedy Stitcher Sewing Awl from Sailrite. Once our knots are in place, we just take some scissors and cut off the excess thread. And you're done. There's what the inside looks like. I hope you can see that. It looks good. And let's show you what the outside looks like. Near the bottom of our shoe, the threads had wore out, so you can see the threads here. Those are the threads that we just sewed in with the Speedy Stitcher, and up here we use the Speedy Stitcher again, but you can also see the other threads that have not yet wore out at the top. Because of the Speedy Stitcher, hopefully I'll get several more months use out of these shoes. You can order the Speedy Stitcher Sewing Awl and the number 4 straight needle from Sailrite. Thanks for watching this video.